Hello everybody, my name is Andre McClendon, and today's video is about how to create a stop limit grid trader for MQL4 or MetaTrader 4. So basically when you open up your window, guys, open your terminal, make sure you click this button right here. This will bring up MetaQuotes. Once MetaQuotes opens, it'll bring up a window like this. And what you want to do first, guys, is go to New, click the next template right here. Type in the name of the template that you want. Any name will work. Hit Next, and keep clicking Next until finished. Once you're done, a window will pop up that looks like this. Now, if you guys want the code, it's within the video. I'm not going to put this on the website. But this was a request, so I tried my best at this. So what you guys want to do is when you first start the code, at the very beginning of the first couple lines, it's a global. So it's not in the on tick, it's not on the DNet, it's not on the on tick at all. So once you do that, you must type this out. And this is the first thing, is going to be a double. If you're not aware what a double is, so basically it puts out a value that's not a whole number. For example, 0.50 or 1.2223, anything that's not a whole number. Our next thing is going to be a double. This is going to be the stop loss. Since we're using pound yen, and pound yen will be the example pretty much for every single video that I make, you guys are going to put in 1.0 for our stop loss. Now remember, guys, you guys can change these values to anything you like. The next thing is a double for a target profit. That's going to be 4.0 or 400 pips. You guys can adjust these values to anything you like. Now, since we got our global, let's move to our on tick, okay? Now, our on tick is going to be pretty easy. We're going to zoom in a little bit for our first part. Our first thing is going to do a comment. You don't have to put this comment here. This is just to see if it works, to see your equity bounce around. Our next thing is going to be our three values for our MACD. Now, once again, we're going to use a double because a MACD doesn't have whole numbers. It's a bunch of decimal points. Our next one's going to be, so if you don't know what a double is, double click that and press F1. The help screen or the reference screen will pop up, giving you exactly what that means. So basically a double is just a value that's not a whole number, okay? We're going to call this MACD0. Why MACD0? Because our underscore right here is going to be here too. It's going to be the current candle. So when you see the current candle on this screen here, on any trading chart, so we open up on pound yen, we go to the 1 minute, for example. We'll change our screen color for a bit, make it a little bit easier for our eyes. And then we go to candlesticks. If we zoom in a bit, we can see that the zero candle is our current candle. This is 1 back, this is 2 back, this is 3 back, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. But remember that the current candle is always the zero candle, okay? Let's go back to MetaQuotes. So to break this down, we need to do IMACD. So we break down IMACD to see the reference, and you guys will see the reference in a second. You'll find out that this IMACD can be, you don't have to try to figure out or Google it. They have the reference here. So if the IMACD equals this, you can break this down. What does that mean? What does that mean right here? See how we have the time frame, we have the fast moving average. You can change the period, you can change the mode. If you want the histogram, if you want to change the mode, just do this right here. Look at this, and it says MACD. IMACD, where's it at? IMACD, either the mode main or mode signal. There's two values that comes to the MACD. And you can change if it applies to the high, the low, whatever they that. And I'll show you that in a second. So when you look at that right here, our value is null. So the first value means that it works on all currency pairs. Default time frame, so whatever the time frame you're on, is going to work on that. So 0 is your default. So our fast moving, our three values right here, it's going to be 12, 26, 9. That's our default standard. It's going to work off the closed price for the current candle is pretty much the current ask price. The next one is the mode main. That's what we're going to be working on. Not the line, not the signal line, basically the moving average kind of line. We're going to be using the bars. We're going to use the current candle. Now we're going to duplicate this 2 other times right here. and we're going to call it MACD1. That's one candle back. MACD_2, and that's going to be the current candle back, 2 candles back. Okay, so that's our indicator. Our next one is going to be our int. So this is very important. So when I was asked, like, hey, Andre, I want to get the high candle. So what this is going to do, we're going to create an int, and an int is basically going to be only whole numbers. And we're going to call this candles to scan back. We're going to equal 100. So basically, the computer is going to check back 100 candles, and that 100th candle, or whatever candle within 0 to 100, whichever the high candle is going to mark that value. I'll give you guys an example. If you guys look at this, we see that there's about 70 candles here. The high candle is pretty much over here, so it's going to give us the candle number, not the actual value. Okay, so this is candle. So we'll start from 0 right here. So it's going to be candle 68. So that's what our value is going to be, not the high, low, open, or close value. Okay, so once we got that value, we wanted to make sure we get the high of that value. So we're going to do another int called high candle number. And once again, you can change this to whatever you like. But once it does that, it's going to use this inbuilt function called iHighest. To break that down, guys, if you want to see, give me a second. iHighest is an int, right? It's going to break that down. What candle returns a shift of the maximum value over the number of periods. So pretty easy, guys, to break down. You have your symbol, which will be null, time frame, 0, stuff like that, okay? Same thing that we have here. We want the high of the candles and the number of candles to scan back. See? Right here, 100. And then we're going to have this as 1. We don't want the current candle because we don't want the current high price. We want in the past, okay? And then we're going to get that value, which will be a double. So when it comes to the high, low, open, close, we're going to have this as a high value and use iHigh. Open that up. iHigh. Here we go. Null, 0, and the shift. We're going to get our value from iHighest, which will be here, the 0, current time frame, and here. High candle number. So these 3 things is how we're going to get the high value. We're going to duplicate that exact same thing, but for the low candle. Instead of using iHigh, we use iLow. Pretty much the exact same thing, okay? Now that we have that, and how we're going to combine the Fibonacci, and this is how you get your guys' values. I'll put that in a second. Once we get our 100% of our move, we're going to be panning out our target profit with Fibonacci's, okay? So we're going to do this as the 100%, the high-low versus the low value. That's going to be our space. So 100 candles back, whichever the maximum is, 100 candles back, whatever the low is, we're going to find that difference, and then we're going to use that as a Fibonacci to plan out our take profits. All right, our next level is right here, guys, and I know it's a little bit too big. Let me get rid of the navigator real quick. So this is how it looks entirely, okay? So I hope you guys can see that, but I'm going to zoom in, okay? Our first thing we're going to do is our if. So if blank is going to do this, and if it's true, it goes through. If it doesn't complete the brackets, basically. We're going to use orders total. So orders total basically checks of how many open orders there are. If you guys want to see what that is, let's go through here. Once again, guys, for everything that you guys don't know that's inbuilt into MetaQuotes, all you have to do is select it and hit F1, or just open up MetaQuote reference and look for that. It'll tell you exactly what it is. And it's an int, okay? An int is basically only whole numbers, okay? We're going to use that 0. So if this checks to be 0, and if you want to double check that, just do equals, okay? Now we're going to do a double and symbol. That means and this. So it's like to make a sandwich, you need bread and peanut butter and jelly and another piece of bread, for example. Without those, it won't equal true. So first thing we're going to do before we create our pending orders, we're going to make sure that the MACD is below 0. How do we do that, and how does that look? Now, if we look at this screen right here, we're going to look at the MACD, M-A-C-D, M-A-C-D. If you look at the histogram, not the red line, the histogram, you'll see that these bars, we want the bars to create our values. So once we have our values for that, we're going to do it again and check if that is negative, 1 back and 2 back. So basically, we want a trend of 3 candles negative before we so we can create our buy stops. So what a buy stop is, it places an order above the ask price, or basically it's a pending order. So it will not engage the current ask price unless it's close. But basically, a buy stop, you want it to be above the price's high so you can catch a trend. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, and remember, this is duplicated 5 times. Okay. You can duplicate it 5, 6, 7. You can remove it. It's okay. It's up to you. But the first thing we want to do, guys, is do an int. And we're going to call this buy stop _1. We're going to do order send. If you don't know how to use order send, this is how it looks. You guys can break this down, but I'm going to read it to you guys as I go. All right. When we're doing this, we're going to use null. Remember, null works on all currencies on the broker. OP stop means open. That's going to be our here's the ask price, enters market price. If you wanted to do a buy stop, you want it above so it doesn't engage. You want it to be like a trend. Okay. We're going to use a lot size of 0.01, which you guys can change. And then we're going to get onto our first little bit of the complexities, okay? A little bit of hard stuff. We're going to do the ask plus the spacer. So the spacer is basically how far you want it away to enter the trade, okay? Now, our spacer our first value is 50 pips because we're using pound yen, which is 0.5. So since we're using pound yen 0.5, it's going to use the ask price plus 50 pips. And that's where our first order is going to be. Now, our next thing is going to be the slippage. And the slippage is basically the time it takes for it to reach the broker, how much it moves, basically the fluctuation of the market. It's going to use 10. 10 is pretty much a standard. Now, our stop loss is the next part. If you want to find out right here, see, stop loss. Our stop loss is basically we have to do our ask price and our spacer, and then our spacer price down. We're going to do spacer, which is 50 pips. You can do whatever you like here. You can do 10 pips. You can do 100 pips. Up to you. I put that as a 0 here, so if you're looking at it, you guys can just put a 0 and then change it to 10 or 20, whatever value you want. And then minus the stop loss amount, because remember, you got to have the placement of the ask at the same price. Our stop loss amount is 50, I think I said 50 pips. Give me a second. It's 100. So it's 100 pips for our stop loss. And our ask price is going to be the same thing because we have to get the same location of the order, and then plus 100%. So 100% is the high and the low, and that's going to be our first take profit, right? And that's our value right here. 100% is the high of the top 100, low of the top bottom of the 100, the difference, and we're going to add that together to get our first take profit, which you can change easily. Now the next part is null. Null means you don't have to put anything here. This means our comment. We're not going to put this a comment. We don't really need it. Our next part is a magic number. This is how you can identify the current market, current order. You can change it to whatever you like, or you can change this to like. Now this part's extremely important. If you look at this, this says time current plus seconds, period seconds times 50. So basically, our current time right now plus the current plus the period in seconds, which we're going to be using the hour. So 1 hour is what? 3,600 seconds times 50. So that means it's going to be a pending order worth 50 candles, okay? And we're going to call, the color is going to be Alice Blue. We're going to do that 5 times, okay? The only difference is going to be the take profit and the stop loss, okay? Now, you can make this whatever you like. But I was asked to do this with the Fibonacci, so you can type in the Fibonacci ratios. 1.2, 1.4, 1.61, 2.618. You can type that in and you'll get your value for the high and the low difference for your take profits, okay? So once again, we're going to make sure we have no errors. Hit compile. And you want to compile pretty periodically. So when you're typing out code, you don't want to just keep typing out everything and then you'll have a bunch of errors. You want to make sure you catch the errors early, okay? So once we have our 5 orders, we know our differences. For spacer, that's for our stop loss. For our order placement, okay? And make sure that these are the same. These have to be the same, okay? This ask plus spacer, this is a location of the order, okay? Once that is the same across the board, then you can put your placement in there. See? That's the placement right there, times 5. So now that we have our order, we have no errors. We're going to check how it works, okay? What you want to do is bring up your strategy tester. Strategy tester is here. Just click on strategy tester. We're going to use pound yen, like I stated before. This, and once again, guys, this is not designed to make profit. Just show you an example of how to use Fibonacci, also the MACD, and using buy stops for a grid trade. Okay, you can use it to be a sell limit. You can make it to any type of pending order you want and grid it out the way you like. Okay, so we're gonna hit start on this bad boy right now, and we're on the hourly, and we're gonna make sure it's paused. Okay. Now, this may take some time, guys, for loading, but you're guys going to see a visual example of how it works. And once again, any questions, guys, put it in the comment section below. I'll try to get to them. I try to make this code as simple as I possibly can, okay? We're going to bring up the MACD so you guys can see. We're going to change the background so you guys can see a little bit better. And there. So right now, the MACD is positive. It does not create the pending orders until we get 3 consecutive histogram under the negative. I'm sorry, under 0. Okay, we're gonna hit play and see how we make see how we make all these buy stop orders. See how they took place. Now you guys can change it to a sell stop. You can change it to any type of pending order you like that fits for the strategy, and change up the MACD. But we're basically trying to get into a buying order for a long-term trend. You can change it to whatever you like, guys. Remember, I made it very flexible. See how we didn't engage all those trades right here? And I will zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it better. See how it engages those trades right here? And we're going to zoom out a little bit. And you'll see that it doesn't engage the top trade because it hits 50 candles, which you guys can easily adjust. And you'll see that it's moving, moving and moving right here. And we hit our pending order right here. Or actually right there, down here. Now, if you guys want to add to the trade by adding a stop loss, break even, or you guys can, I have that in other videos. You can add that to the trade using the magic numbers. And then you can adjust it to do a trailing stop loss. You can do a bunch of things with this. But this is basically a grid trader that you can pan out. See how we have our grid? All measured out by 25 pips, which you can easily adjust based off of this code here. See how we have our spacer? That's our entry. We can adjust that to whatever you like, basically. You can do a 2.0. Just make sure that all the values are the same, okay? So you guys get the same price to modify your take profit, to modify your stop loss, okay? You can adjust that to be even bigger, smaller, grid it out 500 pips, 200 pips. It's up to you. Let's go back to MetaTrader. And you'll see that it keeps on going. It can lock in the trade if you like. It just keeps on going until all the orders are closed. Once all the orders are closed, then it will just repeat again, over and over and over. We're going to let this run until it takes profit or does what it needs to do. Now, remember, guys, if you need questions or comments, let me know. Just put it in the box down there, and I'll get to it. If you guys need a video for me covering certain topics when it comes to programming, let me know. I can try to get to it as soon as possible. See how it hits take profit right there? And let's see. It hits take profit on these fellow orders above. And this is just showing you an example of it working like this. See? You can take the profit, and if we did the Fibonacci extension, we can actually get the value for that. Let me see. We have one more take profit to hit, and then I'll put a fib on it, and then you guys can see how the 2618, all the other values you like. See how our MACD went negative. So if there are 0 orders, then that would be what's called. If that was 0 orders, it would actually place in orders right now above. Let me see. Let's zoom out a little bit. And actually, let me do this right here. Let's do this. let's do Fibonacci real quick. Just go through here, do retracement. Let's see, what's top 100? Give me a second. So just say this right here. Let me see. I think that's about right. Let me see what 100 candles would be. 100 candles, so we're looking over here. So we have our spaces. I think it's about that, right? About right. So if we look at our take profits, you see how they match up to here? That's that 1618. That's the 100% that you can, move around, but plus 25. See? So you guys can match it up to the Fibonacci extent. See how it hits the 2618 right here? So you guys can do this level here. I just made it so you guys can adjust it there, okay? So once again, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I try to make this as easy and as friendly as I can. If you need me to make it simpler, let me know, and I can try to make it even easier for you guys to understand, okay? And look like we hit all profits on these for this time frame. All right, so once again, all the orders are closed, you can tell. If you zoom back out, no more orders are open. It took this trend pretty good for all the pending orders. And then we're going to zoom in when the MACD goes negative. Give me a second. The MACD goes negative, we will see our pending orders going again. And we'll check it one more time. See? MACD went negative 3 candles, and guess what? We see our pending orders. Okay? So guys, that's the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for all your help and assistance. Please join the Discord or Telegram where we can talk and hang out with other traders. Have a wonderful day.